Okay, so today we're going to be checking out our client Mike's awesome detached 2-car garage conversion to a 1-bedroom garden suite. Now, we've been working on many detached garage conversion projects lately, and we think it's a great opportunity to take advantage of an often underutilized existing structure and add an additional housing unit. And of course, generate a great deal of additional cash flow or provide a great living option for a family member. So in this video, we're going to be discussing some important factors specific to detached garages that you want to know about when you're converting them to garden suites. And we'll also mention 2 reasons why converting an existing garage is better than building a garden suite. Welcome back. Thanks for watching. I'm Andy from Suite Additions, where we help investors and homeowners create more housing and generate wealth. We'd really appreciate it if you can take a second to hit that like button, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so that we can get more content out. You can also read a more detailed version of this video on our blog at suiteadditions.com. So let's talk first about why it's great to convert an existing garage to a garden suite. First, you can potentially save a lot of money. Now, if the foundation and the structure is in good condition, then you can potentially save tens of thousands of dollars and possibly even over $100,000. Second, when you have an existing structure, you're often not required to comply with the lot setback requirements compared to building a brand new garden suite. So this is potentially a huge advantage. A few important factors to consider for detached garages include the foundation, as we mentioned earlier, and ensuring frost protection, the wall and roof structure, insulation levels inside the property, as well as door and window openings that are in close proximity to neighboring property lines. So now let's talk to Mike about this awesome garage conversion as an investment property. Hey Mike, what's going on? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. Erwin?
My pleasure, man.
Good to see you, as always. All right, this is awesome. Really big transformation from when we came here last time.
I guess. Garage, yeah.
Yeah, this was before the summer when we came here, and we have footage of just the workshop inside this garage.
Yep.
So I guess what we could do today is just have a look at what's been done so far, right? Like when we were here, it was totally unfinished inside, exposed roof, exposed stud wall.
Yeah, everything was exposed.
Yeah.
Just a basic garage workshop kind of thing that was going on.
And the people that lived here before, I mean, they had this built, right?
Yeah.
And their intention was really just a garage.
Just a garage.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. This is all really good shape. So it's just a single car garage entrance
Door, yeah, and then we put in the double entrance door.
Right. So just to give people a little bit of context in terms of this project, this is kind of one part of a larger scope, which is the existing property. When you purchased it, it was a single family, and we worked on adding in that legal second suite.
Right. So the property was a 2-unit property. It just wasn't legalized as a duplex.
Yep.
And so with very little work, we were able to do that and then get that rented out and start on this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a few things in there that kind of made things easier. You know, you had those large windows, so that allowed for the natural lighting.
Right.
You had the door that's actually a direct access from the outside, so that took care of egress requirements.
Correct.
So it really came down to fire separation, and we kind of want to let people know that like there's a lot of opportunities for existing illegal units that were done properly. You just have to go in there, and we have to verify all the things in order to kind of comply with the code, right? So fire separation, egress windows, natural lighting. You already checked a lot of those boxes on the existing unit, which is why it was so cheap for you to actually do the legal conversion.
Right, and the previous owner had done it to code, just never legalized it. Did the permit process through the city of Brantford. That was the only thing.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
and then basically we get everything to standard, and then they come and inspect it, and you got the paperwork for that.
Yeah, it wasn't. Didn't take long at all.
Yeah. Okay.
For context, I think our typical basement conversion is somewhere over $160,000.
I would say so at this point. Yeah.
You were able to do it for $13,000.
Yeah, it was around that.
13,000.
Yeah.
Okay. That's like a rounding error for some conversion projects.
Yeah,
exactly.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So I just wanted to give people kind of that context overall, because that's important whenever we're looking at properties for our clients. Is kind of how does it. What can we do holistically, right? Like, what can we add? And the great thing is that you have this existing detached garage that, you can actually just convert, and you save quite a bit by not having to redo the foundation or the structure of
building
the building.
The structure, yeah.
Yeah.
Parking was also very easily done here.
Yeah.
We have lots of room here, so.
Yeah.
No, you have tons of room.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at a couple things outside.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing we want to talk about is the structure of the existing accessory structure or garage, right? So when we're looking at these to determine whether it's going to be feasible for us to convert it to a garden suite, we want to ensure that the structure is nice and plumb, it's level. We bring a laser level to make sure that everything's in good condition, especially if it's exposed. We can kind of see the lumber if it's rotted, or if there's any issues with the roof structure, with the rafters. Oftentimes, some of this may be masonry, right? So it might be concrete block or it might be existing brick. And again, most important thing is to make sure that it's in good condition, the brick isn't spalling, there isn't huge cracks, things like that. So that's really the number one thing that we like to look at. Obviously, sometimes we can't tell because it's not exposed, but for the most part, we would be able to tell on a site visit whether or not it's going to be level and plumb. Now, okay, so of course the other thing that's very important is the foundation, right? As we mentioned, if the foundation and the structure is in good condition, you save a lot of money by not having to build those items. But when these structures were built, the intention is really just to have vehicles and other types of storage inside the building, and it's not going to be occupied by people. So in many cases, it's okay just to have a slab on grade with a perimeter grade beam. And if we're building it for habitation, the structure is going to be different in a lot of cases. However, when we're doing a conversion, as long as we're able to have an engineer assess that it's in good condition, it may not necessarily be something that we need to upgrade, right? So in a lot of cases, when we do these conversions, we do need to have an engineer assess the foundation to ensure that it is going to be sufficient for habitation. So now let's talk about insulation. Now, if you were to build a new building that is slab on grade, typically you would have some sort of a foam insulation under the slab, and then you would pour that over top. But if it was originally built with the intention of only being for a garage, there would typically be no insulation. So which means in this case is that we have to add R10 insulation after the fact, right? So we have our slab, and then what we would do is we would put rigid insulation above that slab before we have our finished flooring. Okay, so that would take care of the heat loss that's happening from the ground down. Now, in terms of the wall structure, this is a wood framed wall, and so we basically just have our standard R22 insulation in the walls that's going to take care of the energy efficiency requirements in today's building code. Now, because we do have a gas furnace, the insulation does not have to be continuous, right? It could be in between the studs. But if we did have electric heating, which a lot of these garden suites have, we need to ensure that there's a portion of it that is continuous, okay? Inside, we have our exposed rafters, and we do have our standard insulation R31 inside the rafters as well, okay? Okay, so we talked earlier about the advantage of existing accessory structures and not being subject to bylaws in terms of the setback of the structure from the property line. So in this case here, you can see the side of the wall, and the property line is probably less than 3 feet away from the structure. Now, if we were to build this brand new, we would likely have to have at least 4 feet of setback. Now, because it's existing, we're exempt. The only thing that we need to be aware of is that we can't have any sort of openings, because then that would be a concern for the building code, right? So even though we comply with the city bylaws in terms of the setback, we don't necessarily comply with the building code for fire protection. So those are sort of things that you need to be aware of as well when you're converting an existing garage. Now, in this case here, it's fine because we don't have any window openings here, so there's no concerns. We just need to ensure that this wall is properly fire rated, and we do have the proper fire rated drywall on the inside. But if we were to put a window here, we need to ensure that it's going to be a fire resistant window, or there's going to be fire shutters for that protection.
Yeah.
So I know that there's a trench here that's dug up, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, the great thing about the garage is that, again, we have the foundation and we have the structure, but of course we're going to have to bring services, and there's this trench here that I can see. So this is, we already had a gas line because there's a furnace in there already.
We had a gas line, we had hydro. Hydro wasn't sufficient in terms of service, so we had to upgrade that, and that's the trench that we have here right now.
Okay.
Gas we had, and we had to add water.
Right, okay.
And
so drains as well.
Sewer line,
yeah,
drains,
okay.
Yeah.
And where's the trench for the sewer and the water? Is that on the other side?
It goes from that corner all the way up into the main house.
Right, so that's been closed off, right?
That's been closed off, it's all done, yeah.
Great.
the water lines in with that as well.
Yeah, okay. So I think one of the things with regards to these existing structures is ensuring the foundation is in good condition. A lot of times with the garages, you can just simply have a perimeter foundation with a grade beam and a slab, but when you are occupying it, it usually has to be a little bit more robust. I think that this one is built really well, but some cases, I think in some cases we'll need to have an engineer, you know, kind of add some additional support under the slab, but in your case, it was actually fine.
Yeah, it was pretty.
We didn't have to do that. It was built really well.
The only thing we didn't find was insulation below the slab, so we had to add the insulation above the slab.
Yeah.
For the flooring. We added this concrete pad as an outdoor space as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The other thing that's really good about these existing garage conversions is that you don't have to worry about the setbacks with the lot lines. So, for example, you know, you probably only have like a couple of feet here, right?
Right.
So if we were to build this new, we would have to ensure typically, you know, a 4 feet setback, right? Gotcha. But because this is existing, we can leave as is. That's one of the big advantages of doing a conversion, is that you're not subject to the bylaws compared to building a new garden suite.
Right.
Right. The only thing that we have to be cognizant of is that if it's like less than 4 feet away from the property line and you put in any windows, those would have to be fire protected, right? But you don't have any windows on that side, so it's fine.
Right.
But we had to, that was a concern of ours, remember, when we were talking about the window for the bedroom on the other side?
Correct.
And in the back.
And then from an investment perspective, what I love is that someone else paid for this.
Yeah,
so then Mike,
for
the structure, and then Mike can just buy it and finance it with cheap bank money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of cases, like, you know, we see so many of these types of properties where they aren't pricing it in to the listing price because they're thinking it's just going to be storage or it's going to be a garage for someone. They're not thinking the next person that's coming in is going to actually convert this to a housing unit, in which case the value should be higher, right?
Right, yeah, I think in just a matter of time where people are going to pick up on that and other realtors are going to pick up on that as well and add that into their listings. Right?
100%. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So in the next 2 years, you guys got to buy as many properties as you can. All right, let's talk numbers and warm up inside. Why don't you show us around, like how the setup? I know I worked on the design, but
right now we're standing in kitchen entranceway. The kitchen will be from that wall to the end of that wall there with an island here. You have your entrance dining kind of thing. And we have a den or a living room here that you can use. We have one bedroom, double closet. This is a window we had to put in, brand new window. We actually had an existing window there, so the actual very minimal work to even put a window in in there.
Any special requirements on that window?
Well, we just need to make sure that we have the adequate natural lighting requirements for the bedroom. There's no egress requirements just because we already have the main door at grade level, right? So we just need to have lighting windows for lighting. In this case here, I think you are more than 4 feet beyond the property line, so we don't need to have any special windows.
No.
Whereas if it was less than that, we would have to have like either a fire shutter or fire resistant windows.
Correct.
Right? Yeah, this is a big room, like for, you know, just a single bedroom here. This is huge.
Right.
And you got the double closets here, so that's pretty nice. And of course, we have the vaulted ceiling.
Yeah, we decided to keep it vaulted here.
Yeah.
And go with pot lights throughout.
Yeah.
Just so that we don't have anything hanging low.
Mm-hmm.
We'll eventually clad that with some nice stained wood.
Right. Okay.
Over here, this is our drain system, which we actually had to put in a pump because of the grade. We're at a much lower grade than the main unit, and our water line comes in through there. So that's kind of hidden in the closet, and we'll go into the bathroom here. Just your basic bathroom. We're doing a tub with a surround, ceramic surround, and our laundry will be in here as well, or stacked washer dryer. On this side, we have, when we originally purchased the property, they already had a furnace in this garage. So we kind of left this area as the utility room. We had the gas coming in through there, and we ended up putting our electrical in there as well. So, and we have access to that from the outside.
So I think that deserves reiteration. There was a furnace already in the property.
Yeah.
So Mike doesn't need to buy a new furnace. He doesn't need to pay for the hookup. It's already there.
Yeah, the furnace was there. The HVAC guy says it was working perfect. It was.
You had the gas line in, so that
gas lines
helped
in,
out. Yeah, you had duct work.
We'll be putting in an AC unit as well as soon as the weather's a bit warmer.
Yeah, it's very cozy in here. I mean, today is a cold day. Like it's probably minus 10 outside, but right in here.
Very cozy. We spray foamed the entire building.
Yeah.
So it's sealed perfectly. The sound in here is really good. And tried to add as much light, natural light as possible. So we went with the double doors with full glass.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then once you get the pot lights in here, I think it's going to be really bright.
Very bright. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
So Mike, can we walk through the numbers?
Yeah.
What did you pay for the house?
The house we paid $875. We took possession of it in July of 22. Yeah, so it was $875.
And total rental budget?
Total rental budget, we're looking at about around $120, $125.
So to bring you up to about $1 million.
Yeah.
And then how much is the rent for the main building?
The main building upstairs is $2175. The lower unit $1675.
Plus utilities?
Plus utilities, correct? Yeah. So yeah, we're around $6,000 a month.
Yeah.
Close to that.
Would you say that your rent more than covers the kind of the down payment, the renovation cost, the financing of that, and then also
Yeah, I would say
all
so.
the build?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know your ballpark cash flow at the end of the day?
We're looking at about, it's hard to tell right now just because of the way interest rates are right now. I don't have an insight of what I can get approved for right now. We're still 4 or 5 months out from refinancing. But we're looking at about, at this point, probably around between $1,200 to $1,500 a month.
Did you encounter any other challenges here? Again,
we had
pretty smooth.
Yeah, construction-wise, everything was smooth. The only setback that we kind of had was just waiting on permit approvals with the city. That was for the garage itself. That was a bit of a setback. But we're looking at maybe close to 2 months.
Right.
Of extra waiting. Not ideal, but it's kind of the landscape at the moment.
Well, you're kind of pioneering it, right? Because this was the first conversion of a garage that we worked on in Brantford. And quite frankly, there's a bunch of people at the city that weren't aware of, some of these things, right? Because it's not just one department in the city we're dealing with, right? We're dealing with the building department, the engineering department, sometimes forestry, sometimes parking, and, they don't get all the information correctly. And, you're kind of a pioneer because now this first one took a long time, but they probably have systems in place now that they've gone through several.
Right.
And, it's probably going to be a lot easier for you on the next one. And you've made it easier for
all
other
of
investors
us.
as well.
For
Yeah.
all of us, yeah. I mean, we all learn from each other, so.
If you're watching this video and you're investing in Brantford, please buy this guy lunch because he's paving the path for the rest of us.
I just work with good people. That, at the end of the day, that's kind of my secret sauce is have the right people in your corner and, don't go for the cheapest person. Just work with really good people and they'll help you out.
Well, thanks, Mike, for showing us around.
Anytime.
I'm really excited. So I'd love to come back and see it with
Definitely all
fully finished,
Yeah.
painted,
No doubt. Yeah.
with the mud dried,
Soon enough.
All right, so we hope that you found this video to be interesting and useful. Again, we think that garage conversions are a great opportunity in the coming years to add value and cash flow to a property. So it's something that you should definitely consider when you're looking for property. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. To learn more about the Max Suite strategy, download our free guides at suiteadditions.com and get started. And if you enjoyed this video, here's another great one for you.